This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the LD Micro 10th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Bob Ferris from VirTra, publicly traded company. The symbol is VTSI. Bob, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's great to have you on. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company and go from there.
Sure. VirTra is a simulation training provider. We've been in business since 1993. In 2004, we focused on law enforcement and military virtual reality simulation, which we began with headsets, but now we use projection. So that way they can use their firearm, either a taser, a pistol, or an OC spray, and they actually have the suspects on the screen. So it gives them an immersive environment of life or death situations, whether it be police or military.
I mean, there's been a lot of news out there for wrongful deaths. Is this really tackling those issues that are out there?
Yes, absolutely. So it's one of the few ways that a police officer is able to prepare for an encounter that could become deadly at any moment. And so we found for both the safety of the public and the safety of the officer themselves, a higher standard of training is imperative. And so we've had a lot of the leading thought leaders in the marketplace come to us and decide to purchase our product, in which they train the officers in their particular agency at a much higher level than they had previously. And we've gotten a lot of great response that's allowed their officers to have a deeper breadth of skills that they did not have before the training. And we have a lot of veteran officers who have helped create our content in a way that gives the most advantage possible to the officer, so that when they do encounter a real life situation, they make the best decision in the short amount of time that they sometimes have to make that decision.
And what's the company's competitive advantage in the sense that how do you differentiate yourself from some of the other solutions that may be out there?
That's a great question. Well, one of the key aspects is the interactive loop, meaning that in a simulation, I encounter suspects and then I engage with them, and it's interactive. At VirTra, we have a patented technology called ThreatFire that allows the suspects to actually engage in the officer. And in other words, they have a device that has about 50,000 volt short impulse that creates pain and the pressure to perform in the simulation. That added pressure allows the officer to learn faster, to have elevated heart rate during training, and we think it's extremely effective at making the simulation much more real for the officer and therefore more effective for the training time.
And what's the market opportunity here?
Well, there's 18,000 agencies, but really the larger agencies are the ones that are particularly our customers. So it's an enormous market, probably 6,500 in the U.S., another 2,000 internationally. And so it's, if you think about how many police officers there are and think about every one of them that has the full use of force spectrum from less than lethal to full lethal, when you think about how many officers there are that have that, and everyone needs to train at a high level, the market is quite enormous.
And what's also the business model? Is it an installation and then a recurring for upkeep?
So the business model is right now an initial capital outlay for the equipment. And then we include a 1-year warranty for our customers. At the end of that 1 year, they can choose to have maintenance or new scenarios or various things like that. So I think about 12% of our revenue is a recurring revenue component. And then the key for us is great customer service, because a lot of companies get caught up in only attracting new customers and then lose sight of retaining their current customers. And at VirTra, we've been very successful in both growing the business in new customers as well as retaining customers. And so you can see on our net income chart that we just presented a very nice upward trend for the last 5 years.
And who are some of the company's customer base? Can you divulge some of who's been using your product?
Yeah, fortunately, I can, but I have to kill you.
Okay.
Seriously, the U.S. Secret Service is a great client. Of course, as you'd imagine, they're looking for top quality. U.S. Marshals is also an excellent one. You might be surprised that the largest agency of our federal government, the Customs and Border Protection (CBP), has picked our company, even though they are so large. Some think that they might go for a lesser simulator, but no, they went with the top of the line, best simulator. And I think they do it because in our scenarios, it is life or death if they make the right decision. And being able to practice that in safety and not have any negative consequence, and just learn from that so that the next time you could do even better is just critical.
And what's your background? How did you come into all this?
Well, in 1993 I started the company, and I wanted to make the most effective simulation training company possible. And in 2004 we released our first product in the military. Before that, we did a lot of simulation and virtual reality for a wide host of different applications, and really cut our teeth during those years. But my background is not law enforcement, and I believe that helped because I was able to find the very best law enforcement subject matter experts and have them help craft what needs to be in the simulators. And so our engineering team would come up with ideas, and then the subject matter experts would help us make sure that our product, when complete, would be able to be verified and validated by the very best law enforcement experts.
And in 1993, what did inspire you? You didn't have this law enforcement background, so what was the impetus?
Well, I was always a bit of a geek, so I learned how to, I had a VIC-20 computer, and I programmed some and things like this, and so I always enjoyed computers and technology. But in '93, I started reading a book from Howard Rheingold on virtual reality. I got about halfway through the book and put it down and said, I need to start a business on virtual reality. And my thinking was that here is a digital world that could be created, and so many problems could be solved with this. Little did I know at that time that our company, years in the future, would be the leading company in police training simulation. I had no idea, but I just knew that it was limitless, and I knew that I could invest my entire career into this.
And what are some of the growth drivers for the company?
Well, we have a lot of opportunities both in the U.S. law enforcement market and globally. Part of what we do is educate. A lot of departments and agencies don't realize that simulation training is available, and so it's our job to go out and educate them. We also are always pushing the boundaries of technology and adding new products and new service options for our clients, whether in the U.S. or worldwide. So it's really, we grew tremendously during 2008 and 2009, and I thought that was a great testament to how, instead of looking at the general economy and saying, well, I guess we're going to have a bad year, a lot of times a business has an enormous opportunity to grow by just focusing in front of them on getting to trade shows, developing new products. But the key is really having a product, I think, that fits a need at an affordable level. And VirTra was successful in doing that. And when we started with a 5-screen 300-degree simulator in 2004. And even today, we really are we're really the only company that has a viable product like that that's installed in a lot of locations. And it was really hard to do that in 2004. Virtual reality in '93 was pretty rudimentary. In 2004, it still was not nearly like the capabilities of today. So I think some of it is just really good old-fashioned hard work.
And where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
So our website is VirTra.com, VirTra.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the LD Micro 10th Annual Main Event in Bel Air, California. With me again is Bob Ferris from VirTra, publicly traded company. The symbol is VTSI. Bob, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.